Yes.
All right. Approval of meeting minutes from 9/22/25.
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Approved. Second.
I'll second.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Raise your hand.
Aye.
Yeah, it's the big group that has to approve it.
What's this proof of notice? What is it?
Oh, that's that we sent out the.
Okay. All right.
Just ask Smokey to verify.
Okay. Just some introductions here. My name is Eric Stanford. I'm the board president. I live in Unit 29. I've been at Divine since 2008. That's my beautiful wife right there, Kristen. Say hello to everyone. Other board members, Mark, he lives in Unit 25. Smokey, this is our Worth Ross.
How's everybody doing today?
Put a face to Chris Nix, secretary,
13.
and then Lance.
Aye. 53.
And then we're missing Robbie. He's not here. Where's Robbie? Hawaii?
On this honeymoon in Hawaii.
Robbie's in his honeymoon in Hawaii.
Unit 33.
Unit 33. All right, so I want to introduce you right quick to the lovely people who sponsored our dinner tonight. They're from Reconstruction Experts. We had Leslie, Cody, and Daniel. Thank you so much. You guys go ahead and do your spiel right quick.
So, we have had some experience with your community in the past, and we've been lucky enough to be brought into this relationship and sponsor your annual meeting time. So we're grateful for that and grateful for some opportunities to work with your community out this year.
Yeah, and I know we have a great relationship with Worth Ross too, and so we do a lot of work with them and their property management. Yeah, so thank you for having us. Thanks so much.
Thanks for hosting. Yeah, and for everyone not aware, these are the individuals, company who help take care of our, what's the word I'm looking for here now, as far as our repairs on for the windows and things like that. So just for a little bit. Yeah. All right. You guys want to say anything else? Cody and Daniel?
That covers it.
Okay. All right. Perfect. And keep this sucker rolling. All right. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it. All right. Okay. So now the fun part, the president's report.
Eric, Eric,
What?
Can you go through the meeting protocol real quick?
Oh. Sorry. All right. Meeting protocol here. All right. Here we go. I have this on my computer, so bear with me.
Eric, here.
It's easier to talk this way.
There you go.
All right. So just keep this in mind, guys. One topic at a time. Pretty simple. Raise your hand if you have any questions. Please keep it brief and respectful. Agree or suggest a change. If you support a proposal, say so. If you'd like to tweak it, suggest an alternative. Let's see here. Major vote decides. Most decisions will be made by simple majority, so every vote counts. And let's stay focused. All right. So, well, I gave introductions earlier. Here's faces. All right. Now the president's report. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
First thing we're talking about is infrastructure upgrades. As everyone's noticed, we have this sweet, nice new fence that we all work together as a board to upgrade the property a little bit. The biggest difference, I hate to stand in front of Mark, the biggest difference that you'll see on this is compared to what we used in the past, is the finish that was on there for helps with long-term upkeep and future repair costs on that. Mark, what are your thoughts on the fence that we put in since you helped lead that?
Well, I think hopefully we're going to be able to replace sections and not whole fences going forward as it moves forward. But the powder coating is supposed to last a lot longer than traditional paint. So we'll just see. Hopefully, hopefully we're going to get longer. We got about realistically 12 to 15 years out of the previous fence, and hopefully we're going to get 15 to 20 out of this one. But
okay. Yeah, it helps with improved curb appeal and reflects our commitment as a board to long-term maintenance, visual cohesion, and smart investments. So move over to next slide. All right, so winterization, protecting our homes and community. What we did this winter as you know, is getting newsletters out. We're putting updates in the newsletters for everybody once they come out. We'll send out any kind of freeze warnings will come from Worth Ross, correct?
Mm-hmm.
If we have any freeze warnings coming out. One thing we did do is we got faucet covers installed on at least the front and the back, and try to give enough where if you have it on the roof to cover your faucet on your roof deck. So don't forget about that in the wintertime, because that's one of the ones that tend to bust a little bit. We also partner with the Porter vendor for ice melt. Let's see here. And also, we encourage, just on another note, we encourage everybody to be neighborly as much as possible. If you see something, talk to your neighbor, report it. Just it's pretty easy to do. We live right next to each other, so just keep that in mind. To always try to be the best neighbor that you can in regards to like garage doors open, anything like that. If you see something, please report it. So, all right, next slide. All right, so everyone's favorite topic I hear, landscaping enhancements. All right, so as a board member, and as a husband, I get beat up every day about, well, we're gonna do some landscaping on Carlisle. And I'm like, sweetheart, when we have the funds to do it, we will take care of it. With that being said, one of the things that we've done this year that's helped Chris, Mark, and Chris's wife, Lynn, who's been invaluable in helping us on our landscaping, we actually started doing monthly walks with our vendor to actually, they were, at the end of the day, they were cutting our stuff way too short. It wasn't, so they were blunting it and it didn't have time to grow back, and then they would cut it again. So we got with them, we had a comprehensive plan, we've cut down on that, they've let things grow. I think you can see around the community how well the landscaping is looking. Look, it's not a finished product by any means, but we're making tangible progress on that. And so one of the things that we've actually spent $22,000 over 2 years to help with that. As you can see, around the focus this year was around the pool. Once we put the new gates in around the pool, a little bit higher, but there was a lot of, when we had the construction, there was a lot of walking across the grass and things like that that killed it. We'll help mitigate that going forward, and so some of that stuff is starting to come back, and things are looking better than ever back there. The plan for, we'll talk a little bit about it in a couple of slides, but we're not done with landscaping. We still have quite a bit to take care of, but we're on the right track. Volunteers that come out to help, so I appreciate that. That's something we'll talk about a little bit later too, is something that you can volunteer for, but just keep that in mind. All right, next slide, please. So insurance improvements. So for the last, at the minimum, the last 2 years, almost 3 years, we've been getting higher insurance than we expected, that we budgeted for. So one of the things that Smokey was able to do this year, we hooked up with a new insurance partner who has brought great value, some expanded access to different things we might not have had before, and which is they hosted a broker-led town hall, the owner Q&A. We didn't have as many people on that as I would like to, but I was happy that they were able to come out. And the bottom line is they actually helped lower our insurance premiums for the first time. So that's a win-win on that. And hopefully going forward, things will start to level off on the insurance a little bit. But we have budgeted a little bit more this year with the idea that if we have to roll that into something else, we will. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is our reserve step. Mark, I want you to talk a little bit about this too. Yes, you felt in a crypto spot. I know you led the thing on this. So we delivered a comprehensive long-term planning tool with the reserve study people. We had done reserve study approximately about 5 years.
Last one was 2019.
Yeah, last one was 2019. We needed to do a reserve study to help get a plan for the long-term upkeep and future of the community. Felt like we had a very strong partner with that. They had a town hall meeting with that. Only a few attended, so reached between. If you guys wanted us to do that again, we certainly can. But so I'm more than happy to answer any questions about the reserve study on that. Mark, anything you want to add to that?
No, I mean, I'll talk about it in the financial
Okay.
stuff.
Okay, cool. Back. All right. Next slide, please. As you know, or some of you may not know, we have a bathroom at the pool. And for the longest time, we had to keep kicking people out who didn't live in our community out of the bathroom. So we had it locked for a long time. It wasn't really viable or usable. Well, one of the upgrades that we did this year, clearly you can see by the pictures, is that we did a bathroom refresh. Anyone needs the code, please let us know. Bathroom works. It actually looks nice in there. And I want to thank London and Robbie. London's Robbie's wife. She did an excellent job as little nautical theme in the bathroom. It looks like that looks really good. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, please do. All right. Okay. Upcoming projects. One of the biggest things that for the fall is we're going to focus on is the flagstone walkway repairs. On that, we have several who. Some of these have been done in the past, but a lot of these have not been touched prior, and so we're seeing a lot of things that have been degrading over time as far as the walkways up to your door. I know a lot of people don't use their front yard or their front doors. However, for delivery drivers and things like that, these things have gotten a little uneven. So we're going to work on getting those updated and fixed. That's one of the big things. We're going to have some more landscaping enhancements along Bowen, and hopefully maybe along right. In the fall. No, not in the fall. Okay. Sorry, Kristen. And then let's see here, the parapet cap engineering study. Actually, do they believe it's called? Yeah. Okay. So parapet caps. Is everyone aware of what a parapet cap is?
No.
What? Want to tell us what parapet cap is?
It's just a metal coping on top of the roofs around the parapets. So there's a piece of metal that lays on top of that, mostly around the perimeter, and then between the two units, it falls in there. And so there's been a few between the two units that have allowed water to get in and cause some deterioration in some of the OSB behind the wallboard and potentially causing leak inside the units. And so during the lawsuit that we had several years ago that led to a lot of the work we're doing with RE, that was identified as a potential issue. And so we're working with RE and an engineering firm to try to find, without ripping everybody's up, where there might be that need to be addressed, and go from there. So they already did one run on a drone, but there wasn't enough water for them to get any water readings, and so we're going to wait for another rain. But I mean, the goal is not to have to do them all, because that would be incredibly expensive, to do the ones that need to be done. And kind of the hard part is we're really not getting, at this point, a lot of people reporting interior water. And so that means it's not getting into the interior. So it's kind of a guessing game. So they're supposed to give us a report trying to prioritize what might need to be addressed as we move forward.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Next slide. All right, together in maintenance. So this fall, owners will receive a unit maintenance checklist. We need to use it to evaluate and address any issues with any exterior part of your, like I can see as the doors, facing the frames around your garage doors, and the coating on your garage. And some of these are starting to pop off because of the sun and gate over top of that. In January, the association will start following up on this. We'll have 30 days to address any issues. The reason why this matters is it promotes consistency, helps the air. They don't make them anymore, which is others who've replaced it. It's been about $10,000 if you replace your door, because it has to be custom. The frames have to look exactly like everyone else's. So we're working on a plan to help mitigate that, but it's been a
Smokey's been trying to work with a vendor to try to do that piece on the doors. With regard to the painting of the other work, I don't know that you're going to get a whole lot of break on that anyway. But I mean, and that's just becomes it's a pretty big offer to try to get everybody coordinated on that.
Or at least reputable that will do a consistent job for that, right?
We do have a standard paint, so if you have questions on that, we'll give that to you. There's a base layer and a top layer. That's the original one. If you guys have questions on that, if anybody needs it.
I know that when I've had some needs in the past, I've just reached out for some neighbors and gotten some recommendations, but I think that might be At least we can start sharing some of that stuff with the community and who's had success. Contractors aren't always the funnest people to have to deal with. So if we can find some that are really been able to take care of the units and done it the right way, sharing that is key.
Yeah, I mean, we can send out a survey and see what we get back. I mean,
And we do have a homeowner getting ready to try help us with that.
Okay.
So I'll let you guys know
Sure.
how that goes for the.
that's a full door replacement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any other questions on that before I move to the next slide? Sorry about that. All right, so upcoming capital reserve projects. So in 2026, approximately $70,000.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is, yeah, the first, you missed the first one.
Oh, where-
The unknown cost for the defect
oh,
repairs.
yeah, sorry.
You were going to talk about that.
Talk about the cover caps. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, and just how that, we're not, I mean, that's the only, I mean, that's one of our main drivers if we end up having a special assessment is the work that has to be done
Yeah,
on
like,
those.
we don't want to have special assessments, but at the end of the day, the work, next slide, the work has to get done. In regards to the parapet caps and just the defects on that, we'll have,
When you can't fund it, I mean, it's not funded through the reserve study because it's not predictable and measurable.
right,
So we're trying to get that information through this study so we can make it more predictable and measurable. And if we can get a short, medium, and long term, that can be incorporated into the reserve study. But we're going to have to address what's immediate up front. And that, depending on the scope of that, that may stretch our funds to where we have to go out and get a special assessment.
we'll talk a little bit more of that when we hit the financial part.
Yeah.
No.
Next slide.
So in regards to vertical repair joints, partial,
We did some of that last year, but basically those are the caulking in between the buildings that dries out over time, but that you got to keep that current or it allows for intrusion into the water intrusion into the system and could cause damage. So that'll be part of as we go around and inspect the condition, try to find those that need to be done. So there's every few years there's going to be a few of those in the reserve study, and these actually come from the reserve study. So these are projects that are funded for next year in the reserve study.
okay. Lance, you have a question?
Yes, so for the benefit of everybody, what would a special assessment entail?
Well, we would take the total cost and divide by the 63 units
Okay.
and go from there.
And that would be due,
Well, we would try to, like we did last time, spread it out over time on that, give everyone like a payment plan if possible. Like I said, we're trying to avoid that as much as possible. But if it has to happen, it has to happen.
And it would be spread out to our ability to spread it out
Yeah.
without getting a loan.
Yeah. I mean, if you spread it out, it means you have to everyone needs to be on the time.
I mean, if it's a
payment.
2-month project, you can spread it out a little bit if it's and you have some time prior to the project beginning. But, the last time we did it, it was pretty much of a 9-month project, so we could spread it over 6 months. I just don't know. We don't know enough about it, and we don't even know what we need it. So it's just putting it in everybody's mind so people aren't surprised if and when it happens.
All right, and as far as the wood fence stain, we have a wood fence in the back there along the green belt back there that was stained, I would say approximately like 7 years ago. And so it's due for another staining and upgrading on that. There's also a little cubby back there in the back along on the other side of the pool where there's a little, it covers up some water meters back there. So that'll need to be stained as well. And the landscape enhancements along Carlisle, Kristen, for 2026. So we have to have a little bit more time on that. And for 2027, we're going to have to, I didn't know about this for a long time. I was ignorant on this as far as having the pool concrete pavers replaced. We're just talking about inside the pool, correct?
No, we're talking about the pool concrete pavers are we'll decide at the time, but that's what's in the reserve study. The concrete pavers are actually the decking, basically, that's out there. And some of it's deteriorated, some of it's in good shape, but it's really to decide whether we want to repair it, replace it, what we want to do with it. And then what you're talking about, resurface and retile, is actually the coating of the pool, which is starting to deteriorate as well.
And we have pretty good pool equipment out there because over time that stuff's going to need to be replaced. We have a little bit of leakage inside that we're going to have to address. That's from the inside out. But other than that,
and then replacing the pool,
yeah,
the fountain wall.
Yeah, that's where we're having a leakage inside, and the wall gets outside gets stained with algae and stuff on that, which we've been having. Chris and Mark and I are getting out there having to spray that down with a power washer. We're hoping to try to avoid that going forward on that, but that's the things that we have to do sometimes on that. Anyone have any questions on any of the capital reserve projects that are coming up? Perfect. Cool.
I want to ask also, the limestone is all green. Now that you said algae, it reminded me, all the limestone right under the Juliet balconies, atop the, are we gonna power wash those, or what are we gonna do about them?
Yeah, we haven't built a specific plan for that yet, but that's on our agenda to do. It's just, it's not a capital project. It would have
Try and
to
get the
be
guys across the
operational.
street to pay for it. We'll see how that goes with the new construction over there.
Yeah.
All right, so next slide. All right, how to get involved in our community. There's a light touch, moderate commitment, and a deeper commitment. Light touch is fill out the surveys that we send out. We really depend on that to get you guys ideas of what needs to be updated, what things you guys are leading into, what things matter. Share your ideas and feedback on the newsletter and updates, just different things like that. The moderate commitment was this is a moderate commitment. Attend board meetings, attend our annual meetings, join a committee. We have a landscape committee, a social committee. I'm sure we can come up with other committees if we have to, but right now it's what we have. We also, we'll talk about another slide in a minute, assist with community holiday decorations. This will be our second year. Last year we had a small little turnout. It was really good, but we'll talk about that in a minute, but that's on the docket as well. And deeper commitment, join the board or lead or co-lead a committee initiative on that. Any questions on that?
How would one say that they wanted to do that?
Contact Smokey, go through.
Yeah, I was just about to say, if anybody's interested in starting a committee or heading a committee, or even has just a good idea for a committee that we can help you get the word out to the community and see who else would be interested with you, please just reach out to me directly and we'll get that put together for y'all. Next slide. Yeah.
Speaking of committees, landscape committee. She's not here, she's online, but I just definitely want to thank Lynn for doing such a fantastic job. So everyone give her a round of applause. Chris, Mark as well. So let's see here. We have regular walks with the vendors. We get feedback. We like to collaborate with them on different things. And let's see here, long-term landscaping strategy and vendor relations. Yeah, so we're just continuing to have conversations with our landscaping people. If you have ideas, please bring it to the table. We're always open to listen. If anyone has any ideas, especially if anyone who's in landscaping who might live in our community. So we appreciate that. Any questions on that as the food gets delivered to everybody? Okay.
Next slide.
Yeah. Okay. So, social committee. We had a little party at the pool. I think we're gonna try to have one this fall. Is that to talk about that, or
As soon as you plan it.
okay? All right. We had a little get together. We had some hot dogs that Chris provided. Some drinks just to get together. It's nice just to connect with your neighbors, things like that. If you want to be part of the social committee, please let one of us know. Because we want to try to have 2 or 3 community events a year. Maybe have different themes on that. And, just connect and have a good time. All right. This is what I'm really excited about, maintenance committee. Basically, you just assist with our visual inspections, help identify any and prioritize any repair needs, have some input on vendor performance and project planning, and then basically support communication around upcoming maintenance work and things like that. As you see here, got the pool, fence, and the landscaping that we did right there at the corner of Hall and Hall. Next slide, please. All right, as I talked about before, this will be our second annual holiday decoration. We actually have a contest, and the winner gets a plaque. Is that correct?
They had a great trophy last year.
Yeah. Yeah, nice little trophy.
Some recognition.
Yeah, some recognition. You know, it's like, yard of the month for the vine, something like that. But actually, for like decorations. It's oh, okay, sorry. All right. As you can see, we had small participation, but the lighting was strong on a lot of things on there. Things looked really good. Mark was the main leader on that. That was really his idea. So thank you, Mark, for bringing that to everyone's.
Had a lot of help.
What's that?
Had a lot of help.
Yeah, yeah. And if you want to be on this committee going forward, please let us know. We'll start meeting. Was that December roughly, or was it right after? No, right after Thanksgiving last year. Yeah, right after Thanksgiving, we got together, talked about things and how we wanted to.
Yeah,
put
we'll
things
probably
in there.
decorate the weekend after Thanksgiving
Yeah.
for everybody else, and then everybody can do whatever they want.
Yeah. You guys have any questions on that? How to get involved, or what you want to do on that? Okay, cool. All right. Is this the same? Next slide.
Move that. That's already been done.
Yep.
There we go.
All right. We get 1 second. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. So let's talk about parking enforcement enhancement. So for about the last 6 months, we really haven't had a tow company come through. We actually have people who on the board, or we actually have people who walk around. We'll put stickers on your car if you haven't registered, or if you're just to give you a small little warning on that. But going forward, it's imperative that if you have a guest or if you park your car in a parking spot, that you register on the app. We have a new tow company coming through, and we will start towing enforcement the 27th. Is that correct?
Saturday.
Saturday, starting on Saturday. So please take a look at this. Make sure you guys are in compliance on that, because it's not our goal to tow cars, but at the end of the day, we have to be equitable in our parking. So please just do your part and register your car on that. Mark, you want to say on that? Chris? All right. That's my president's thing. Does anyone have any questions for me or for the board before we start getting into the fun part, the financials on this? Yeah.
Any change in the parking registration, or?
That's still the same app.
I don't care.
Just use the app, and the towing company will go by the app as well. Cool. All right. Thank you so much, Mark. Let you do your financial part. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
I'm just going to talk a little bit about our finances, kind of to date. Start off with that, and so from a standpoint of our revenues are up a little bit for mainly because we've been doing a lot of work with our water bill back company, making sure that bills are getting paid and going out. There was some lax in that where we had to bring some past due amounts forward that we're working to rectify. But also, we're just getting better data from them at this point. We spent the time doing that battery replacement. We've got some additional transceivers coming in, so hopefully we're going to get that down, so we really can better plan for what that budgetary revenue is going to be. Basically, that's a pass-through revenue. It just goes to pay the water bill. So we get the whole water bill, and it gets divided, and we pay it from there. So, it just means more water is being used, and the rates have gone up. That's the reason those values are higher. We had a slight variance in our legal bill back, and that is also passed on. So any kind of collection activities we do gets billed back to the owner. And then Worth Ross, as you didn't know, moved their offices from about a mile away to Irving. And so we're having to cover mileage on that at a higher degree. The big thing with taxes and insurance is the insurance renewal came down lower, so we budgeted for about a 19% increase, and it came in slightly less, so that accounts for that variance there. The variance in the professional services is about the reserve study and paying for that. Our service contracts are about where they're going to be. They're going to be a little over than we budgeted as we get through the year, because we did add the alley for maintenance to try to deal with the camps that were happening back in the back. So, and that has helped. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's much better than it was last year, keeping that maintained. As well as keeping that maintained, we do get some flooding into the vine if it's not maintained, and there gets some clogs and some drains. So that's two reasons that we took that on. And then with repair and maintenance, you know, that's kind of a catch-all of stuff that you don't necessarily know that might happen, that you really can't plan for. And so, you know, that's a little under budget at this point, but we have about $8,000 to $9,000 of outstanding bills that we've not paid on that. So hopefully that's going to come in. So overall, we're pretty strong in our revenues versus our expenses this year. We've been able to, I'm going to the next one. With that, we've been able to pay down some of our borrowing that we've done from the reserve account into operating expenses. And so you can see as we've, and this just gives a snapshot of our balance sheet from last year to this year, there's been a concerted effort to move operating funds, excess operating funds, into reserve funds and pay that down. The closeout of the individual assessment happened. So our total liabilities went down a lot. Our equity is up, and it really has to do with the closeout of the project, the window project, and realizing some of the proceeds from the settlement funds we had a few years back. But you can see our reserve interfund balance has gone down $67,000, which is, it's good. And as we talk about kind of the reserve study coming forward, that'll the importance of that will be highlighted a little more. You can go to the next slide. So in looking at, does anybody have any questions before I move on? Okay. So we start billing the budget back in June with our community survey. Then we spend July and August, you know, talking to our contractors to see what rates we might expect for them to go up in. We had 2 budget meetings. The first one, we adopted some budget goals, and then the second one, we really refined that and came up with a draft budget that we're presenting tonight. And then we'll adopt it in October, and if there's a rate increase, you'll get that information in November, the formal notification of that. So the board adopted some budget goals. One was to, as we try to minimize the assessment increases. We do several things to try to do that, which is make sure that we're getting a good cost value for the money we're spending on our vendors, that we're really budgeting closer to actuals, and that we're being efficient with our resources. The second goal is, and we'll talk more about this in a minute, but is to make sure we're funding our reserves at or above the study recommendations. Third, we want to schedule reserve projects, as you saw from Eric's presentation, that we, you know, in trying to use real data to schedule those. Part of that data is the reserve study, but visual inspections, and then some ancillary evaluations that we'll do in upcoming years are also a part of that. We wanted to complete our multi-year landscaping enhancements, which he talked about that earlier. Ensure liquidity for our high-cost obligations. We have to make sure we can pay our insurance premiums in April, and we're talking those are $130,000, $120,000, and so if we don't, we have to get a loan, which only makes that cost more. So we've been able to leverage our reserves to make that happen. Ideally, we would have operating reserves to pay that, but we're just not there yet. And then plan for contractual and market-driven cost increases as well. So one of our major drivers on what you're going to end up having to pay for your monthly assessment is the reserve study and kind of what that reserve study planning looks like. So they came back with a couple of options for us. The association's reserves did, and theirs came up with to bump up our contribution this year to $73,000. And then increase about 5% for the next few years, and then drop that. that would only get us to, and with a reserve study, you have to look at the percentage you're funded is kind of how likely are you going to be to have a special assessment for those reserve components, okay? And so if you're above 70%, between 70 and 100, they consider that a strong position. We're at about 53% right now. So their goal in the reserve people, they come in with a 30-year plan. How can we get you 100% funded in 30 years? And so that first plan is, how do we fund you by 100% by 2055? Given the fact that we have this parapet cap thing that's out there unknown, having a funding formula that long, the board was concerned about, and they wanted to get to a 70% target sooner, and looking at that to move that forward, as well as adjusting some of the funding of the reserve study earlier on to address the landscaping on Carlisle. So the reserve study had that funded probably 5 years from now, but if we brought some of that funding up this year, it would be covered in the reserve study, and we would have that come in sooner. So the board discussed doing a contribution and really accelerating that on the front end to do $100,000 contribution in 2026, and then that would lead to only about a 1% increase in the following years in that reserve, based on what information we have right now, and then further on, 21 to 30 years, it would go up a little more. But that would get us 70% funded by 2029, and that's that top yellow line, and 100% funded by 2034 of what this currently is saying we need for the reserve funding. So that's really where the board is right now in terms of reserve study. So that gets incorporated. That cost, that $100,000 gets incorporated up front into our annual budget. The second big driver is insurance and then utilities on that as well. So when we looked at the proposed budget for this upcoming year, with everything we're looking at and the changes, and we'll go through those, it really yields about a 9.5% increase in monthly assessments, or $50 per unit per month. So going from $525 to $575. That's built on inflationary adjustments, about 5% on our vendors, adding those ancillary assessments, so having our structure and our plumbing assessed so we can get on the front end of that, and budget for that if we need to. Budgeting still for a big increase in property insurance, even though we came out ahead this year, it was trending between 20 and 25% in previous years. So we just haven't seen a trend long enough to pull back on that. So basically, we're budgeting at what we budgeted this year for insurance. We did move some of the capital items like landscaping and walkways out of the operational budget into the reserve budget. So we're going to fund the reserve at $100,000. Some of that will be quote unquote new money. I mean, all of it's new money, but 100% is a new contribution. 50,000 is going to be new contribution. 50,000 is going to go to pay back that owed to reserve account, because that's an accounting issue more than anything. So we're going to, have enough that it shows that we're putting at least 10% in to our reserves, but that's going to get those numbers down. But overall, there's $100,000 worth of cash that's going to go into that reserve next year. So if you look at, kind of the changes, if you want to just look at the top, we're looking at about $39,000 in additional revenue with that increase. And 32,000 of that is going to pay into the reserves. So there's only about, there's a very small amount that's going in for additional expenses in there as well, since we've moved stuff around. So most of it is going towards reserves. Any questions on that? So how does that all break down? So out of $575, that's about 1.7% for administrative expenses, and that covers our parking app and just postage, small things like that. 30% for taxes, insurance, not taxes, it's insurance. So that's all of our property, and those are different issues. So that's 30% of what you spend for every month. Our professional services, which is our management company, our legal expenses, our accounting, or our auditors, and then this ancillary assessment piece is about 9%. Utilities run about 17% or 18%, almost 18% of that budget. Our contractors are about 12. Repair and maintenance is about 8, and you can see that we're going to fund reserves at about 21.5%. So every month, that's where your money's going, is to cover those things as you pay your assessments. And I just want to go ahead. This is just a history, kind of one of the reasons we're here, and we are looking at it. This as an opportunity. We've been struggling with this pay owed to reserves for a while, because what happened was about 4 years ago, insurance started driving up, and we did not increase our fees to cover it, and so borrowing just kept going out of the reserves with no plan to pay it out. And so part of it is trying to get that paid back. And this is really, we had been holding off on trying to make that happen until we got a good reserve study, so we knew kind of a better shot of where we were versus looking at 2019 data. And so it's just an opportune time for us to kind of get back on track with reserves where we should be, and that's kind of where the board is leading to that. So, it's hard to predict because you don't know what's going to happen next year, but we're hoping that we can move to 3 to 5% increases every year, no more than those, depending on inflationary costs. But I mean, costs are going to go up. I mean, that costs go up everywhere, and we have to budget for that. I'm going to say we were probably under budgeted. I feel good about, once we do this, that we're really budgeting where we need to be, versus trying to dig ourselves out of a hole. I mean, we've been trying to dig ourselves out of a hole for about 3 years, and so I think we're seeing the light at the end of this, but it does come with costs. So, questions? Yeah.
On the insurance, have we had any claims just driving that? Or just error?
Cost of materials, number of claims other people have had. You can't even find very few people that will actually insure us. So it's a very closed market. And so it's just really tough. I mean, we were lucky to get where, but if we had a claim, it would be much tougher with that. So, I mean, you really have to look at catastrophic, our insurance is, I got about a 3% hail and wind damage, so that's pretty much, so, we did a big presentation about individual insurance with our agent, that hopefully if you weren't able to see that, you can get that information, because it's important that that's a balance that we get with that. But yeah, it's no claims really. Other questions?
I have a question. Does everyone know how to get into the portal? Anyone not know how to get into the portal? All right. Please use that for communications to Worth Ross. It's our #1 way of making sure it gets to the right person quickly and gets addressed. So please use that. Smokey, you have anything you want to say about that at all?
Really, we have, for work orders, the new portfolio admin that's come in is really doing a bang up job staying on top of that stuff. And then that relieves us to have time to go in and just answer general questions and whatnot, or if statements or whatever go out and you guys respond to those e-statements, those really come across as just a statement in our queues. So I really strongly, if you have a direct question, there's an option there to send a question to the manager. It's its own thing. So please utilize that for anything that really are general questions, like if you're having troubles with your portal, or if you're having trouble logging in, or any general questions. Please utilize customer care for that. Their number is on my cards that I have if you need one, or also anytime you've gotten an email from us, it's in my tagline, and it's readily available.
It does help for you to go through that. I know it seems like it's less personal, but it allows us to track and see if there is something that's fallen in a process. But it also makes sure that everything you ask doesn't have to go through Smokey. Other people can answer those questions and are in a better situation to answer those questions. And like for work orders, like we put in a couple of work orders for lights being out at the garage. Those got put in, they got processed, they're in the process of getting in. We can see those things and how they're being filled. So I would just encourage you to use it as much as you can. Also, if you have any feedback, I mean, that's our main thing. So any kind of feedback you have, put as a general question in there. That'll get to the board. Any ideas you have, you want to be on a committee, put that in there as well. That'll get to the right people eventually. And you can monitor. What's good about it is you're able to monitor that and see what's happening to that on your screen. So it's kind of a work order system, really.
So I just noticed this today, that's why I'm bringing it up, is that we have a Facebook page.
We don't have a Facebook page.
That's what I was gonna ask, is that not official?
There is a Facebook page that a resident has for the residents.
Got it. Okay, because I saw that somebody posted a question about who's the manufacturer of our doors on that Facebook page today, and I didn't know if everybody knew. I think it's probably why he's bringing up the portal.
Yeah, I mean, they should ask the portal. I'll tell you up front, we don't know the manufacturer of the doors. That's why Smokey is doing what he's doing on that. But yeah, I mean, to me, that's fine. If people want to ask questions of their neighbors, and that's what that forum is for. But if you want to ask questions, like if you're asking about governing documents or who's responsible for what, you're better going to the source. Or do I need approval? ARC approval will do X. You're better to go to the source, and that's going to be going through the forum.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, no, no problem. Any miscellaneous stuff? Like trash and what?
I mean, right now, it's just open their questions right now.
Is everybody good on the trash days and how to put your trash out? Because the trash guys have been kind of very specific recently. You need to have stuff in bags. Usually the main Mondays are the main days for cardboard and things like that. Please break them down if you have to. Please break them down. Break them down for me on that to help him out. And on Thursdays is usually just a quick day. It's usually a small truck. Can't fit a lot in it, so it's just typically just gonna be your garbage bags on Thursdays. Please try to save recycles for Monday as well.
And boxes.
In the blue bag and the boxes and things like that. If you guys have any questions about that, shoot me an email or something like that. But typically the only days that they don't pick up trash is Christmas or Thanksgiving.
If they tell us they're not going to be here, otherwise they're going to be here.
Yes. So soon they're going to come.
Even if it's a holiday.
Even if it's a holiday. So just keep that in mind.
All right. I think you're up now.
Okay, so now we're coming up to our board and elections and candidate overviews. We do have 3 open spots, and I'd like to just take a moment to thank you for you jumping on the board in a time of need. We appreciate everything you've done. We really have.
Thank you.
Definitely, Lance. You did a great job. Thank you for the assist.
Yeah.
Please do. Please do.
Knock yourself out.
We do have. If you look to the very back of the packets we hung out, we do have the in-person ballot. At this time, the ballot itself, this is an uncontested election so far, because we don't have, we have 2 people running and we have 3 positions. Fortunately, we're happy to hear that Christopher Nix and Robert Flowers are both staying on. If you wanted to say something, Chris, no, thank you guys. You guys are fantastic. All right. We also are entertaining anybody who would like to put their name in the hat that may not have known we had an extra position or something. We do want to have 5 members. That keeps anybody from having a stalemate and slowing decisions down. So if there's anybody here, if you don't want to speak up right now, you can speak to us at the end of the meeting, or you can reach out to me directly. But please keep that in mind. Your service is absolutely requested, and it would be appreciated. So thank you for entertaining that. At this time, board, did you have anything else to say about that?
Lance, what did you say? With time commits about 5 to 10 hours a week?
Pardon?
About 5 to 10 hours a week?
Yeah.
That's what you have to be willing to commit? Yeah.
And really, this is just the larger meetings and intensive.
And we have board meetings every quarter.
Every other month.
Every other month, sorry. Every other month, in 2 hours maybe.
2 to 3 hours.
Yeah. We try to keep it simple as possible, but sometimes they get a little bit longer than that.
How long you talk?
Oh, me? I'm Mr. Loquacious here.
A lot of the rest of the time is really just making sure that if there's a board decision that needs to be made, staying on top of that, getting your input in back to the rest of the board as quickly as you can. So it is manageable. We do understand it is a volunteer position, just like all these guys do, and we appreciate them for that. And it's having 5 people and another person on it would be very valuable to us. So please keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's one Take,
I didn't, oh, sorry.
No, no, go
No,
ahead.
I mean, it wasn't because the time was too much. I had a circumstance change at work, and that's really the only, because I would love to stay on. Never can, but it's just timing.
with that being said, I do want to thank Chris, Mark, Robbie, Lance for all their hard work this year. We've really done a lot for the community and for the last calendar year, and I'm thankful for everybody. I'm happy for the work that we've done. I'm proud of the work that we've done. We're going to continue to do the work that we've done on that. So please talk to your board. If you have any questions, please bring them up. We want an active, involved community around here. What makes it was what makes it great. Once again, thank you. Appreciate everyone coming tonight. You know, free food always helps, but I do appreciate everyone coming tonight. So thank you. So let's move.
All right, is there any other Q&A? Any other questions? Anybody want to throw their name in the hat? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Anybody?
They can talk to us later too.
All right. It's getting a little warm.
We'll take whoever we can get.
Oh, nothing wrong with that.
If we get anybody, I mean, I demand it. Like, I mean, we were open to have anybody on the board who's wanting to serve. That's what I would say. But yeah, but we appreciate the support regardless of whether you're on the board or not. We appreciate the support from the community and your input as you can give it to us. You're sure.
Yes. Cool.
Anything else to add, guys?
That's it. Good. Is there any questions online or anything? Nobody has any?
No, there's no hands up.
Thanks, board. Appreciate you from Miss Nix and Teresa Wang. She was just letting us know that we had a hiccup in the internet.
Perfect. All right.
Let's stay around, enjoy food, drink.
Please do.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, as a disclaimer, we do ask you to be very responsible tonight. Okay, thank you.
And, motion to adjourn.
Second.
So moved. 7:29.